Islam, everybody. I got a good one here for everybody. This will definitely help put a lot into a proper perspective when we're dealing with these contracts, because there's a lot of confusion, which would definitely help you as far as making a legal claim, as far as like false and misleading practices, which every state has their own version of the federal version. But yeah, these are definitely deceptive practices, especially when they have you signing in the wrong spot on contracts. So what I mean when I say that is I'm going to use, for example, one that's easier to explain and that most people probably have had experience with. So with the retail installment agreement that you sign at the dealership, so there's a lot I want you to understand. Within that dealership, there are separate offices, and they all sometimes represent different interests, but they all play a different part. And sometimes, although they can be under the same roof, but they do have to be separated in their offices, because some people will have license, like securities, some person is doing this, some person is doing that. So that's one of the things I learned just from reading about that. So that's why it's funny that you start out in the showroom floor with someone who's going back and forth, doing numbers with you, going over your contract, running your credit. Then he'll say, hold on, we got to get you over to so-and-so. So then you go over to so-and-so. They're passing you off. So at some point, you're getting into a securities broker and you're dealing with them. And then the final stage, they say, okay, sit down and wait. He'll be with you shortly. We got to send you to finance. So this is, and they're not explaining properly exactly what's happening, but you think finance, and they're like, okay, this is the bank or the representative for the bank, and this is where they're going to get you funded at. So here's the separation, because in that contract, you will see vehicle mentioned, which is the false and misleading part, because you're under the impression that you are there and you are purchasing a vehicle. And what you have to realize is that on those contracts, there are multiple different contracts in play. And this is why if you look on the contract and read really good, it'll say that if any provision of this contract shall become void, that all other parts of the contract that are not void shall survive. And just reading that first off, it never really made sense to me. I didn't understand. But yeah, that is very smart. And it's telling you, even the box where you sign, the signature, where it says buyer and seller and they're signing it, that too is a separate box, a separate part of the contract. And on that, I was looking at the language the other day. It says this part of the contract, or something that says, constitutes all and final parts of the contract. So it's letting you know that box is a whole completely separate thing. So basically what's going on is that you're signing as the buyer because you believe that you are buying a car. So then they have the seller spot, and then usually that's where the finance person comes in and they sell on the on that section. So I want you to know what's actually happening. You were actually supposed to you were supposed to sign on the seller portion and not the buyer, because what it is you're selling the contract. That's what's being sold. So you were supposed to sign as the seller, signing it, and them, because this is dealing with wholesale contracts and assignments of contracts. That's why it's immediately assigned. So that person who doesn't have the money, and this is not illegal, I want you to know. So they're in the middle, and there's someone who just, they gain interest because you granted to them. And now they can assign it to somebody else for a portion of the contract. They get a percentage out of it. So they were supposed to sign as buyer because they want to buy that commercial paper that they're looking to sell. You, on the other hand, are the seller of that contract. You are selling them commercial paper, which is investment grade contracts. There's going to be sold on the, I guess, private market, you can say. So when you look at it like that, everything makes sense. That's why you had to grant them a security interest. So once you granted that interest is assignable, and it also has a monetary value to that interest in that contract, that commercial paper. So it's funny how it's misleading. Like I said, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, they probably just put an X. There's already an X on the contract, but I think they're like circle it. But like, here, you need to sign here, on this here, and this, and this here, and this here. And they are misleading you by having you sign the buyer, because you're not buying that contract. You're selling the contract. And then they come in. Sometimes their name isn't even legible. Just go scribble, 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 and be like, for the seller, it'd be like finance manager, and they just go for like a circle and like a something real quick. And that's why all the shadiness, when you start asking questions or asking for people's names and different things, and a lot of time people don't keep like permanent position. You'll see they get moved and changed around. You may buy a car at this point, come back, I don't know, 6 months, a year later, maybe to do a refinance or something, and that person is no longer there. Oh, they're no longer with us. And this is why it's like the shell game, where they got the 3 shells, and you're going like this, and you're hiding something under the shell, and yeah, you're going to keep moving it. So it's the same thing, because a lot of these people probably get sued on contracts or something, so they have to move them. I even noticed, even like the presidents, vice presidents, all these people, they never stay. They get moved around to different dealerships and companies, brands that they'll move amongst, never sitting still. Doesn't that sound like somebody who's like doing something shady, who's like standing on a corner and he sells you a box that's supposed to have a MacBook Pro in it, and it's probably got something weighted in there with some styrofoam, and you buy it, and then when you leave and you come back, he's no longer there, but you might see him set up shop on another corner. Same thing is going on. So like I said, all these contracts that we're signing, they are commercial paper. Commercial paper is as good as legal tender. It is a cash-like equivalent. Because I was going to say money, but no, money, if you look at the Black's Law definition of money, money is something that is coined and minted. And it speaks directly of silver and gold coin. So those are, that is what money is. Everything else is money substitutes, cash-like equivalents, and what is called medium of exchange. Like checks, cashier checks, teller checks, things of those natures are cash-like equivalents. So one of the things that, and I've actually experienced this before, this is a while ago, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the process, the procedure. I didn't read the contract, or what is it, the American Arbitration Administration, I think. Go in and read on their website and get familiar with everything that comes along with arbitration. So now I have a matter that I'm looking to arbitrate, and I'm going in with renewed eyes and everything. I completely understand it. Last time when when I went to arbitration, we met at like I think he was a lawyer, like a retired lawyer or a lawyer or something, office. His personal private offices was not in a court setting at all. This is probably why a lot of us don't see cases with remedy, because in those matters, you are going to sign an NDA. You're going to sign a non-disclosure agreement. You're also signing a private settlement agreement. And there are clauses in it where you promise not to disclose this publicly. You can't share this on social media. You can't slander the company, anything. You can't defame them in any way, publicly or probably non-publicly. If so, there are recourses that are laid out right in the agreement. it tells you what will happen. It says we will seek this, or you will promise to pay this amount of money, or this and that will happen. So this is why a lot of people that you may look at and say that they're not getting remedy or something like that, that actually are. And this is why you won't know, or hopefully they're not out telling people this, because again, there are ramifications. Everything that is going on is contract law. So you live and die by the pen. You say live and die by the sword, but by the pen. Whatever you write and whatever a maker of a contract writes is binding, and courts have to enforce it, just as mediators do. But I didn't want to, this video wasn't about arbitration. Maybe at another time I'll shoot that video, especially if you're interested. Please comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, because I notice a lot of, when I check my analytics, a lot of the people who visit my page actually aren't subscribed. So please make sure you subscribe, share, like, and ring the bell. Talk to you later.